Yeah, you get no. I let the room build up, you know.
Where you started?
I know your sins when your soul is lost. Let's be honest. For the Father, we pay homage with your life worth. In every city and every town, He's choosing us first. Cannot compare me to a nigga. We let that all burn.
Okay.
Hey, shalom, shalom, Most High Christ bless Israel. We're going to start shortly. Where's the next song, baby? Good morning, Most High in Christ bless.
I know we disagree. Seem like we both on different pages. It's like we're riding on a roller coaster. The ups and downs. But I only want it with you, baby. You complete me and that's the truth, baby. You give me anything I need and more. What more could I ask for? We both know.
Good morning.
Sometimes I get delivered, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get medicine in the morning, sometimes I don't.
You gotta hit that bell or something like that. Or hit it's something in the settings where you can set it to where soon as somebody go live or comment, like I got mine set to certain people, when as soon as they comment, I'll be able to see it. Alright.
This is what you call love, baby. And I only wanna do it with you. Me and you. Me and you. This is what you call love, baby. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. That's what it is. You do it, and it's true. I need all my married couples out there to grab your spouse. This is the moment where we just look into each other's eyes and we just appreciate each other. You know.
All right, y'all. A Shalom, Most High in Christ bless. Good morning. This is your Daily Bread. I'm your host, Officer Gabriel from IUIC Louisville. Today I have Reed with me.
Officer Isaac.
Got Officer Isaac the Mighty in the building. So first things first, we're going to throw up prayers in honor of our Lord and Savior. And then we're going to get into the class, all right? So we're going to stand and face Jerusalem. Jerusalem this way. Book of Psalms, chapter 51 and verse 1. Have mercy upon me, O God, according to thy loving kindness, according unto the multitude of thy tender mercies, blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly from mine iniquity, and cleanse me from my sin. For I acknowledge my transgressions, and my sin is ever before me. Against thee only have I sinned, and done this evil in thy sight, that thou mightest be justified when thou speakest, and be clear when thou judgest. Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. Behold, thou desirest truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part thou shalt make me to know wisdom. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. Hide thy face from my sins, and blot out all mine iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from thy presence, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and uphold me with thy free spirit. Most graciously, Heavenly Father, we come to you now asking for your forgiveness for the sins that your Holy Scriptures have stated in Psalms 51. I ask that you bless the bishops, the deacons, captains, officers, soldiers, brothers, and sisters, those who labor fruitfully in this truth, those who are weak and feeble among us. I ask that you heal them. Those who are with child, I ask that you give them peaceful and healthy births. I ask that you watch over all of our sisters. Give us prosperity, not for our own benefit, for those who may learn after us. I ask that you bring forth laborers, for the harvest is plentiful, but the labors are few. I ask that you give us understanding in these scriptures as all of these classes come out today, but not for our own benefit. As we stated earlier, as King Solomon had prayed, not for our own benefit, but for those who may come after us. I ask all these things in your Son's holy name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, we about to get right into it. All right, the topic of the day, if you did not see, is through lies or deceit, truth prevails. So through lies or deceit, truth prevails. And the reason this title came about was because sometimes in this truth, our people don't understand that you will be lied on, you will go through various trials, but it's not the trial you're going through, is how you react to those trials which show your faith. And we're going to really just cover that. That's pretty much it. There's nothing else I can say. All right, let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 35 and verse 11 to start it off.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 35 and verse 11.
You can read a little bit louder. It's okay.
False witnesses did rise up. They laid to my charge things that I knew not.
So So I want y'all to pray y'all are following along. All right, I pray y'all are following along. It says false witnesses did what?
Did rise up.
False witnesses in our lives will rise up. All right, false witnesses are those who have no established testimonies. They're going to bring things to your knowledge that you had no foreknowledge about, which is going to say next, read.
They laid to my charge things that I knew not.
They will lay to your charge or hold you accountable for things you did not even know of. So in this truth, just like Christ, which is, I know it's a hard thing to understand, you will be accused of things that you had no foreknowledge about in the first place. Watch this. Read on.
They rewarded me evil for good, to the spoiling of my soul.
to the worsening of our soul. You know, when you have spoiled foods or something of that nature. So to the spoiling of his soul. It says they rewarded him evil for his good. You will do good, but people will reward you evil for it, which was Christ. Christ did what? He sacrificed himself, was healing people, did various miracles across this earth. But what did they do to him? They laid things to his charge that he was not, he had no foreknowledge about, which this is Christ we talk about. He knew what they was doing. He knew what they was doing. All right, let's go to the history of Susanna. This is where we're going to mainly stay today. I pray y'all, if you've never read the history of Susanna, you need to read it and familiarize yourself with this story. Why? Because it perfectly summarizes what we will go through in this truth as a nation and on an individual level, even in your marriages. All right, history of Susanna. We're going to start at verse 3. We ain't going to start at verse 1. We're going to start at verse 3.
This is the history of Susanna. Chapter 1, verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
Her parents also were righteous.
This says what?
Her parents also were righteous.
Matter of fact, start at verse 2. I apologize. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And he took a wife whose name was Susanna, the daughter of Chelcias, a very fair woman and one that feared the Lord.
So Susanna was a righteous woman, one who feared the Lord. I wanted to establish that first and foremost. Fearing the Lord means you keep the commandments to the best of your ability. All right, you keep the commandments. Go ahead.
Her parents also were righteous.
Her parents also were righteous. So her foundation from the beginning, from her childhood up, she was reared up as righteous. Why? Because her parents were righteous. Come on.
And taught their daughter according to the law of Moses.
And they taught her according to what was written in the Old Testament. So for those who didn't know, you can know righteousness by what was written in the law of Moses. But under Christ, we don't sacrifice, obviously, right? Come on.
Now Jehoiakim was a great rich man and had a fair garden joining unto his house. And to him resorted the Jews. Yep. Because he was more honorable than all others.
So everybody liked to go to Joachim's place, all right? So I want y'all to take note of that. He had a garden, and it's making note of that for a specific reason. Time, place, dispensation, right? Go ahead.
The same year were appointed 2 of the ancients of the people to be judges, such as the Lord spake of, that wickedness came from Babylon, from ancient judges who seemed to govern the people.
So you had people that will be set up in certain places and they will not be righteous. So these judges, God prophesied there will be ancient judges that will come out of Babylon that were wicked, that were most likely following things that was not of their own mind. That's what makes you evil, when you do things that are not of God, but you follow your own mind. And these were judges. Judges. The significance of being a judge is very important. A lot of people sleep on that. Judges, as we're going to read today, did a lot for the nation of Israel. Right? What verse is that?
Verse 5. This is verse 6.
Go to Deuteronomy 1 and 15 now. Deuteronomy 1 and 15. Watch this, Israel.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 15.
Go ahead. Watch this.
So I took the chief of your tribes, wise men.
So he took the chief, the elder of our tribe, the elders of our tribes, the highest in position of our tribes, the wise men. That's the stipulation. They must be wise according to what? The laws of God. You're not wise if you're not keeping no commandments. Come on.
Wise men and known.
And what?
And known.
They had a reputation. Go ahead.
And made them heads over you, captains over 1,000, and captains over hundreds, and captains over 50s, and captains over 10s, and officers among your tribes.
So you just read that. You read verse 15. You look, officers, captains of this, captains of that. That's just titles. What does it call it in the next verse? Read.
And I charged your judges.
Your what?
Your judges.
Go ahead.
At that time, saying, hear the causes between your brethren, and judge righteously between every man and his brother and the stranger that is with him.
So everybody gets judged. By who? These captains, these officers, these titles that people may gloss over. These men are the judges. That's the significance of being a judge. You are wise. You are known amongst your people. You understand? Now, go back to history of Susanna. Exodus 18 and verse 21. So a lot of people don't understand that these men, these judges, were supposed to be known. They're supposed to be wise. If you don't fit those, what is the word I'm looking for? Help me out.
Qualities.
Qualifications. If you don't fit these qualifications, you're not fit to be a judge. And I ain't talking about the title. I'm talking about wise according to the scriptures. I'm talking about known amongst your people for your good works and such. These things would not make you like the ancient judges that came from Babylon. Right? Come on.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 18 and verse 21.
Yes, sir.
Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men.
It called them true. It called them wise men. It called them known in Deuteronomy. But it says able men. Go ahead.
Such as fear God, men of truth.
It says such as fear God. That's another qualification of the judge. You must fear God. What is the fear? Of breaking of his commandments. The judgments that will come upon you if you break the commandments. Watch this.
Men of truth.
It says what?
Men of truth.
Men of the commandments. Come on.
Hating covetousness.
They hate covetousness. So judges, the judges that we need amongst us are people that hate covetousness. Hate the desires of this world. Come on.
And place such over them to be rulers of thousands and rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s and rulers of 10s.
It said the same thing, but it called them captains and officers, right? Go ahead.
And let them judge.
And let them what?
And let them judge the people at all seasons.
Go ahead.
And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge.
So. You had these men, these captains, these officers, and these various ranks, you understand? They would judge every single matter at all seasons. But if it's too great for them, they would go to the judge at that time. In our time, we have the deacons and the bishop. So if anything that's too hard for me, I would go to the captains. Anything that would be too hard for them, they have the deacons and the bishops. Don't you see the order? Don't y'all see the order? Come on.
So shall it be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burden with thee.
These people, these judges, were meant to bear the burden with those ancient judges who were set up in our times. You understand? So that's the importance of being a judge. I wanted to establish that first. The power that comes with a judge, you have the power to bring people up or bring people down. And we're going to read that in the history of Susanna. Let's go back, verse 6.
This is the book of History, Susanna, chapter 1 and verse 6. These kept much at Joachim's house, and all that had any suits in law came unto them.
Anybody that had issues, remember, Joachim was honorable. So much that everybody brought all their... Joachim was honorable, but these ancient judges, these evil wickedness that came from Babylon, everybody brought their laws and suits to them. Sorry. They brought their issues to these ancient judges, these wicked judges, right? Go on.
Verse 7. Now when the people departed away at noon, Susanna went into her husband's garden to walk.
Remember, in verse 4, it said a fair garden joining into his house. So it was a garden that was connected to his house where all the Jews frequented. All right, so when everybody actually left his house, matter of fact, I was right. In verse 6, it says Joachim's house. I just said the judges. So everybody came to Joachim's house. Why? To bring their issues to him. Why? Because he was honorable and known. He was a righteous person. So everybody brought their issues to him. Now, when everybody left that house, right? Susanna went to walk into the garden that connected to Joachim's house. Her husband. Come on.
Verse 8. And the two elders saw her going in every day and walking, so that their lust was inflamed toward her.
Now, it said in the book of Exodus, didn't it not say judges that hate covetousness? Men of truth that hate covetousness? These men right here, you don't have to go back there, but these men right here did not hate covetousness. Their lust inflamed within them, looking at another man's wife. Now, I didn't write this down, but let's actually get that. Matthew 5 and verse 28. Let's get that. Let's get what Christ said. Because this right here, they're already breaking the commandment, and they knew it. They knew it. And it's going to say how they knew it. Matthew 5 and verse 28, I believe. Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 28. But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her.
To do what?
To lust after her.
These two wicked elders, they were lusting after Susanna, the wife of Joachim. Come on.
Hath committed adultery with her already in his heart.
They've already committed adultery. Why? Because once you've decided in your mind or moved on that lust, you would do what? Perform acts. some people look at that and say, well, damn, he making it hard for a person. Do you look at a person? Don't we got the 3-second rule? Nah, when they look at people, they've already decided in their mind that they about to go commit some fornication, some form of fornication. So let's go back to History of Susanna, 1 and verse 8 again. Watch this. We going to confirm that they already decided in their mind what they was going to do.
This is the book of History of Susanna, chapter 1 and verse 8.
Yep.
And the 2 elders saw her going in every day and walking.
They watched her every single day. Come on.
So that their lust was inflamed toward her.
Just like you would look at somebody to examine them. They looked at her to examine her, and they found everything that they wanted to find to inflame their lust. Watch this. Go ahead.
Verse 9.
And they what?
And they perverted their own mind and turned away their eyes, that they might not look unto heaven, nor remember just judgment.
So it said, when they said they turned away their eyes, they did not look at the Bible. Bishop Kanai said it best. He said, when you're far away from the Bible, you're that much closer to sin. So they separated themselves from the just judgments and confirmed in their mind the perversion of what they wanted to do to our righteous sister. I want y'all to think about this. So these things right here, that it's already put in perspective the wickedness of these judges. That's why you can't have wicked judges who do not go to the Bible. You have to have brothers who go to the Bible, because these are the same people that will do what? Become false witnesses. Why? Because the Bible is not close to them. Watch this.
Verse 10, and albeit they both were wounded with her love, yet durst not one show another his grief.
They said they both were wounded. You understand? They were so afflicted in their love or lust for her that they didn't even want to show the other brother, what they were going through. They didn't even want to explain it. They didn't even want to confirm it with each other. He said, why you always come here every day? Oh, the grass look good. The grass look amazing over here. This is different type of grass. No, it's not different type of grass. It's different type of... Watch this, yo.
Verse 11. For they were ashamed to declare their lust.
Their what?
They were ashamed to declare their lust.
In the previous verse, it says love. That's what they were convincing themselves of. But this was completely lust. They were out the spirit. Watch this.
That they desired to have to do with her. Yet they watched diligently from day to day to see her.
Inflaming themselves. Watch this.
And the one said to the other, let us now go home, for it is dinner time.
He said, look, hey, so we need to go home, bro. We've been here all day. We've been here all day. That's crazy. Remember, I believe in the previous verses, I believe it was verse 6. Everybody came to the house to bring laws and suits to Joachim. But then them 2 elders stayed there. It was like, yo, man, we've been here all night. Yo, it's dinner time. We need to go home, bro. We crazy. Come on. Watch this.
And verse 13, and the one said to the other, let us now go home, for it is dinner time.
Go ahead.
So when they were gone out, they parted the one from the other, and turning back again, they came to the same place. And after that they had asked one another the cause, they acknowledged their lust.
So I want y'all to think about this. They left and then found themselves right back in the same spot. It was like, hey, why you back here? No, why you back here? I'm burning, bro. I'm burning. She bad, bro. She bad. I had to come back. I had to spin the block for this one. Wickedness. Come on.
Then appointed they a time both together when they might find her alone.
So remember, false witnesses. That's the topic. Through lies or deceit, truth prevails. I want y'all to keep that thought in mind. These people came together and decided, we're going to pick a time where we're going to come together so we can find her alone. To do what? Watch this.
Verse 15. And it fell out as they watched a fit time, she went in as before with 2 maids only.
So I want y'all to think about this as well. They watched her so much, they knew that the appointed time that she would be when she walked alone with 2 maids. Watch this. And that's a good point too. These 2 had confessed their thoughts one to another, what they were battling with. And one didn't say, we need to stay in the spirit. Why? Because if you read in previous verses, they departed from just judgments. They turned away their eyes from the commandments and they focused on their lust. But this time they confessed it to each other and confirmed that we're going to do what we need to do to fulfill this lust. Wickedness. Come on.
As before with 2 maids only, and she was desirous to wash herself in the garden, for it was hot.
Probably asked for a rag. Hey, I would like to wash myself right here. This is my house. This garden is conjoined to my house. So what you decide to do in the privacy of your crib is up to you. But they watched her so much. They knew where she would be at and what time she would be there and when she would be alone. That's the levels of evil, which is another class. Go ahead.
Verse 16, and there was nobody there save the 2 elders that had hid themselves and watched her.
Go ahead.
Then she said to her maids, bring me oil and washing balls and shut the garden doors that I may wash me. And they did as she bade them and shut the garden doors.
Remember, they never left. They hid themselves. Remember, people been there all day bringing their issues. I want to keep reiterating that. How was they in position to hide themselves? Because they never initially left. And they hid themselves when everybody thought that everybody was gone. And she walks there all the time. I'm telling you, some of us are like on autopilot where we don't watch our surroundings because we do the same monotonous things day in and day out. So when something breaks that schedule, we thrown all the way off. These people right here watched her on a daily basis. This is the levels of evil somebody will get to set you up. They will watch all your moves. They watch your temperaments. They watch your attitude. They watch how you respond to other people and say, I'm going to get him. He going to slip up again. I'm going to get him. Watch this.
And they did as she bade them and shut the garden doors and went out themselves at privy doors to fetch the things that she had commanded them. But they saw not the elders because they were hid.
They were hiding. Watch this.
Now then the maids were gone forth.
Read it one more time.
Now when the maids were gone forth, the 2 elders rose up and ran unto her, saying,
imagine you in your crib doing what you wanted to do, taking a bath. You want to take a bath in your garden. And out of nowhere, 2 wicked niggeras, 2 bald-head scallywags, probably right. They had on the garments of judges and everything, run up on you and try to address you. And you in a bath. Yeah, it's crazy. Come on.
Verse 20, behold, the garden doors are shut, that no man can see us, and we are in love with thee. Therefore consent unto us and lie with us.
So I want y'all to pay attention to this. Why would they say nobody can see us? Why is that? Because some people, they've convinced themselves so much that if we get her alone, she gonna sleep with us. Maybe the lust for us. You know how some people, they be the ugly brothers too. I'm sorry. I'm joking. It be the ugly brothers. I ain't gonna turn back from that. It be the ugly brothers. They see a girl looking at them. I think she want me.
I look like Shamar Moore.
I look like Shamar Moore. You see how she looked at me? They convinced themselves that if they tell her that we are alone, she's gonna sleep with us. That's why it says no man can see us. Read it one more time.
Verse 20, behold, the garden doors are shut, that no man can see us.
Nobody can see what we're about to do. You understand? And what does it inspire? Do you have the fear of man or the fear of God? Right. God sees everything. God sees everything. So when they said no man can see us, we have to emphasize that. Some people will lie on you just because they know that we on this earth. God ain't walking with us right now. But God is walking with us. Every single man on this earth is a God if they keep the commandments. Watch this.
And we are in love with thee, therefore consent unto us and lie with us. If thou wilt not, we will bear witness against thee.
We will do what?
We will bear witness against thee.
If you don't do what we're telling you to do, we're going to lie on you. Some people, at least they was honest about this, because they was alone. If they was in front of the other people, they probably wouldn't have said this. That's why they was hiding themselves. Right. But they said, look, we got you by yourself. Sleep with us. And if you don't do it, we going to lie on you. Knowing the law, we going to lie on you. Watch this.
If thou wilt not, we will bear witness against thee that a young man was with thee, and therefore thou didst send away thy maids from thee.
Why would they say that? Because the maids were witnesses. The maids could have been witnesses. That's why they left them That's why they waited till she left. The maids left. Why is that? Go to Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 22. You know what? Not there yet. No, read verse 22 in Susanna.
Verse 22. Then Susanna sighed and said, I am strained on every side.
She said, I'm straitened on every side. Go ahead.
For if I do this thing, it is death unto me.
Why would she say, for if I do this thing, it is death unto me? Now go to Deuteronomy 22, 22.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 22.
And I'm telling you, you can only be lied on in regards to the law. Those are the things that stick. Some people that know the law, like these wicked judges right here, they can only lie on you or confirm things in the law. They're not going to lie on you and it not be found in the law. That stuff is not going to stick. The righteous is just going to throw that out. But a person that understands the law, like these wicked judges, they will use the law against you to lie on you. What do you do in a situation like that? That's what we're going to go into today. What would you do when somebody uses the law to lie on you? Or for somebody you think to be righteous lies on you? People don't think that happens in this truth. Come on.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 22. If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then they shall both of them die.
Didn't it say Joachim? Joachim was the husband of Susanna. So she was married into a husband. But she said, if I do this thing, it is death unto me. Why? Because me and the man you accuse me of laying with would have to die. And it ain't a hard, I'm telling you right now. You read it in Jezebel. It is not a hard thing to get lied on. Jezebel did what? What did Jezebel do? She said, I want this man's vineyard. I'm going to set up 2 false witnesses to say that Naboth had broken a commandment. And they had him put to death. So they could have picked out a random man and had him put to death. And said, she slept with Susanna. We watched it. So understand something. That's why she said, it is death unto me. Read the scripture again.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 22. If a man be found lying with a woman married to a husband, then they shall both of them die. Both the man that lay with the woman and the woman, so shalt thou put away evil from Israel.
Let's go back to history of Susanna. So she said, if I do this thing, it is death unto me. If I sleep with y'all out of fear of you, I will get put to death under the law. Watch this. Read on.
Verse 23.
Verse 22.
22 again?
Yep.
Verse 22. Then Susanna sighed and said, I am straitened on every side. For if I do this thing, it is death unto me.
We read the law. That's why she would get put to death. Watch this.
And if I do it not, I cannot escape your hands.
Why would she say that? If I do it not, I cannot escape your hands. Let's go to John chapter 8 right quick. I almost forgot that. This same example was in the New Testament as far as Deuteronomy 22 and 22. I almost forgot that. That's why I got notes here. John 8 and verse 3. Why? Because in the New Testament, the law is confirmed again. It is. Why would she say it is death unto me if I do this thing? Go ahead.
This is the book of John, chapter 8 and verse 3. And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery. And when they had set her in the midst, they said unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us
that what?
That such should be stoned. But what sayest thou?
He said, look, this woman was sitting on a man's rod and we pulled her off in the act. Now, under the law, we're supposed to stone her. What do you say? What say you? Now, they reference the law to Christ. They used the law. And what was their motive by mentioning the law to him? Read the next verse.
This they said, tempting him.
Doing what?
This they said, tempting him.
Go ahead.
That they might have to accuse him.
They used the law to tempt him. Because they said, we're about to put her to death. We're about to put her to death. But what say you? Under the law, she must get put to death. People that lie and have envy will use the law against you. All right. And what did Christ say? What was Christ's response to that?
But Jesus stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground as though he heard them not.
It says, as though he heard them not. He ignored the hell out of them. So when you get lied on, in some cases, you can just ignore it. Sit there and be quiet, knowing that there's a God. It's committing yourself unto the Father. But most of the time, we don't do that because we don't believe there's a God. I'll tell you straight. We don't believe there's a God. Go back to History of Susanna.
This is the book of History of Susanna, chapter 1.
Yeah, verse 23.
Verse 23. It is better for me to fall into your hands and not do it.
It said, it is better for me. She said, look, she was getting lied on. But even in her condemnation, she said, it is better for me to fall into your hands and not do it. Go ahead.
Than to sin in the sight of the Lord.
Than to sin in the sight of the Lord. Now, I want us to really think about why would she say that? Why would she say that? Because understand something. If I sleep with you, I'm committing sin. And even if I do live by sleeping with y'all, I'm going to get put to death by the Most High God. And if y'all do lie unto me, if I sleep with y'all, I'm going to get put to death by the Most High God. And if I don't sleep with y'all, I'm going to get put to death by y'all. So I'd rather fall into the hands of God. King David actually said the same thing, actually. Watch this. Hold on one second. I think it's 2 Samuel 24. 2 Samuel 24, verse 12.
2 Samuel 24, verse. The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 24, verse 12, you said?
Yep. No, verse 13. Start at verse 12.
Chapter 24 and verse 12. Go and say unto David, thus saith the Lord, I offer thee 3 things. Choose thee one of them, that I may do it unto thee.
He said, so remember, early in this chapter, he numbered the children of Israel, which was a sin. What did King Gad, sent the prophet Gad to offer him 3 judgments to do unto him. What was David's response when he heard these things? Watch this.
Verse 13. So Gad came to David and told him and said unto him, shall 7 years of famine come unto thee in thy land? Or wilt thou flee 3 months before thine enemies while they pursue thee? Or that there be 3 days pestilence in thy land?
So one 7 years famine concerned the people. The second one says, wilt thou flee 3 months before thy enemies? He's like, look, bro, you're gonna be at war with people and you're gonna have to run. That involves himself, right? He's gonna have to flee before his enemies. And then he said, or you're gonna take the pestilence. The land get jacked up by pestilence. Let's see what David's response was.
Now advise and see what answer I shall return to him that sent me.
This question came from God. I need to go report back to God. What you gonna say? Watch this.
And David said unto Gad, I am in a great strait.
Didn't Susanna say that? I am straight on every side. If I do this thing, so on and so on and so forth. So David said the same thing. I am in a great strait. But remember, he jacked up in this one himself. This ain't like Susanna, who was done unjustly. He's getting offered 3 things. But even when he getting offered 3 things for him jacking up, he said, I am in a great strait. Come on.
Let us fall now into the hand of the Lord.
He said what?
Let us fall now into the hand of the Lord.
Go ahead.
For his mercies are great, and let me not fall into the hand of man.
He said the exact same thing. I'd rather fall into the hands of the Lord, for his mercies are great, than to fall into the hands of man. Different context, but same message. Both of these, Susanna and David, King David said what? I'd rather fall into the hands of God than the hands of man. For the hands of man are not merciful as the hands of God. As you can see with these wicked judges. They said, if you don't sleep with us, we're going to get you put to death. So I'd rather fall into the hands of God first and foremost. Let's go back to History of Susanna. Verse
24.
Yep.
History of Susanna, chapter 1, verse 24.
Yep.
With this
message to the wicked elder, she did what?
Susanna cried with a loud voice.
Go ahead.
And
how did she cry out with a loud voice? Let's go back to Deuteronomy 22. Let's go back to 22. Deuteronomy 22. You really got to know the law, y'all. You really got to know the law. Deuteronomy 22, verse
23.
Verse 24.
Verse 24. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22.
Yeah, verse 24.
Verse 24. Then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die.
Why?
The damsel, because she cried not.
What did Susanna do? She cried out. She cried out. She screamed. She's like, oh, no, y'all ain't about to touch me. I'm screaming. So she screamed. Go ahead.
Being in the city, and the man, because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife, so thou shalt put away evil from among you.
Go ahead.
But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lie with her shall die.
Why?
But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter.
Why so? Read on.
For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried.
The woman that was married or betrothed or determined for another brother, she cried out. She cried out. So Susanna did what? She said, these men are about to try to rape me, or they're going to get me put to death if I don't. I'm screaming as the law says to do. So in a time when people are lying against you, that's why I said through lies or deceit, truth prevails. When somebody is trying to lie on you, follow the commandments. Your mind should go straight to the commandments and see how to handle it. It is not avenging yourself nor rendering evil for evil, as we're going to read in the scriptures today. Come on.
Continue on.
Yeah, Susanna. Thank you. You're right. Here's Susanna.
Yes, sir. Verse 24.
Yep.
With that, Susanna cried with a loud voice, and the two elders cried out against her.
And they cried out too. They screamed too. I don't know why y'all screaming, grown crybabies. You tried to rape me, you trying to scream. What the hell are you talking about? Come on.
Verse 25. Then ran the one and opened the garden door.
One of the evil judges ran and grabbed the door. Go ahead.
So when the servants of the house heard the cry in the garden, they rushed in at a privy door.
It says, so when the servants, remember she had maids, they had servants. Joachim, he was an honorable and rich man. He was wealthy, right? So when his servants heard the scream from the wife, right, they ran into the secret door, the privy door. That's how you know. That's how you know. He said, look, they have doors in their house that everybody don't know about. They ran into a secret door. What the hell's going on with the sword of the Yapa? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They rushed in at a privy door to see what was done unto her. But when the elders had declared their matter,
they said, listen, they ran in to see what was going on. But the elders then declared their matter. Why? Because they screamed. Everybody was screaming. So when the elders tried to determine what happened according to their story. Watch this.
The servants were greatly ashamed.
Why?
For there was never such a report made of Susanna.
Because what? She was raised in the law of Moses. Her family, her parents were righteous. They raised her in the commandments. They have never heard of their daughter being a whore. You can read that in Deuteronomy chapter 22. Why is that? Because remember, you had laws set up about the sheets. You had the law set up about a betrothed damsel already being found and slept with and stuff like that. You had certain dishonors that came with being a defiled woman. She never had a report like this, and it may happen to you. Somebody may lie on you, and other people who are spiritual is going to question, like, I've never heard this person do this before. I've never heard this. This is an outlandish accusation. Watch this.
Verse 28. And it came to pass the next day, when the people were assembled to her husband Joachim's two elders came also full of mischievous imagination.
Mischievous what?
Imagination.
Go ahead.
Against Susanna to put her to death.
It says, so the next day, when the people were, remember, they already spent the day declaring their matter, and the servants didn't believe it. What the hell are you talking about? The next day, they had that SpongeBob imagination. They was coming up with everything. They came up with all type of devious acts. Probably saying the man ran, he fled, he jumped, he hopped, he skipped, he ran it. She fell on it. She did all type of stuff. And she tried to come on us too. And we denied her. They came up with outlandish imagination, evil imagination against our righteous sister. Why? People will lie to get the hardest judgment against your behind. Some people will do that. Just like they did unto Christ. We're going to read that later. to get the hardest judgment against your behind, what can I do? I have to make up something heavy. They gonna feel this. They gonna sympathize when they hear what I got cooked up. Read it one more time.
Verse 28. And it came to pass the next day, when the people were assembled to her husband Joachim, the two elders came also full of mischievous imagination against Susanna to put her to death.
So they went to her husband. They went to her husband, and when they got to her husband, they brought up all type of mischievous and outlandish accusations against our sister to get her put to death. Come on.
Verse 29. And said before the people, send for Susanna, the daughter of Chelcias, Joachim's wife. And so they sent.
They said, hey, we heard this outlandish accusation with mischievous imagination. Go grab Joachim. Go grab Joachim's wife. Bring her forward. Watch this.
Verse 30. So she came with her father and mother, her children, and all her kindred.
Of course, when you go into court, who gonna show up in support? Damn, that's a t-shirt. When you go into court, who gonna show up to support? All her family, her children, her kindred, everybody came in full throttle, especially when you heard the outlandish accusations. You being righteous daughter, how you being reared up and stuff like that. Remember, a shameless daughter is a dishonor to the father. Come on.
Verse 31. Now Susanna was a very delicate woman and beauteous to behold.
She was drop dead gorgeous. Come on.
And these wicked men commanded to uncover her face, for she was covered, that they might be filled with her beauty.
And I'm telling you, some people, they will allow you to bring you to your lowest estate. They lied to you. They said, look, she usually covers her face, most likely only seen by her husband to behold. Uncover her face. We want to look at her. These wicked men use that lie or their lust to do what? To destroy her character, her reputation, her honor. And you will have that happen to you. But do not fret, there is a God. Watch this.
Verse 33. Therefore her friends and all that saw her wept.
Why? Because she's being shamed in front of everybody. Her face was usually covered. They never see her face on a normal. That's why they had to sneak into the bathhouse, wicked niggers. Wicked niggers had to sneak into the bathhouse just to behold her. That's why they was lusting. Now they trying to get everybody to lust after her. Uncover her face so we can be filled with her love. Wicked brothers. Come on.
Then the two elders stood up in the midst of the people and laid their hands upon her head. And she, weeping, looked up toward heaven, for her heart trusted in the Lord.
She did. Her heart where?
Her heart trusted in the Lord.
When you receive accusations, you must show your trust in the Lord. They grabbed her by her hair and pulled it back, and she looked up into heaven. She looked up to heaven and she said, I trust in you, oh God. That's what we got to do in our time of lies and trials and tribulations. We have to give our full confidence into the Most High God. That's how you be like, why is that brother defending himself so hard? Why? Because he does not believe there's a God. I'm not saying you can't defend yourself. You speak your truth and leave it at that. But that's what she gonna do. She fully committed herself to the Most High God. That's what we gotta do. We can't be flailing and shaking and stuff like that, being double-minded because somebody lied on you. Well, this couldn't be the truth. People lying in the truth. People gonna lie in the truth. People lie on you at your job. You still lie too. People lie on you at your house. Your kids be lying on you. Dad, you said you were Santa. I'm not Santa. I am Santa. Matter of fact, I am Santa. What the hell you talking about, son? You ain't abandoning your parents. But then when you come to the truth, you ready to flake because somebody lied. Let it not be. Watch this.
Verse 36. And the elder said, as we walked in the garden alone.
So this is the mischievous imagination that they came up with. Watch this.
As we walked in the garden alone, this woman came in with two maids and shut the garden doors and sent the maids away.
As she always does. She's always walking through the garden with her maids. And at this dispensation of time, she decided to do what? She wanted to wash in the garden. They're saying something that a person that sees her every day would be able to know. They add a little bit of truth and mix it with the lies. Watch this. Read it again.
Verse 37. Then a young man who there was hid came unto her and lay with her.
Right.
Then we that stood in a corner of the garden, seeing this wickedness, ran unto them.
Ran into Susanna and the alleged man that was in the garden. Understand something. I would have probably been that person. How the hell did you get in the garden? Where was you and your antennas? How did you even get there? Somebody got to ask some questions in that room. Mm-hmm. I can't be the only one. I'd have like, nah. Hey, it's a quick question. How the hell did you get in there? How long was you waiting there? What? Come on.
And when we saw them together, the man we could not hold, for he was stronger than we.
He said, we too old and feeble. Your old behinds made it away to get into this garden, but you couldn't hold a man. And it's two of y'all. Come on, bro. Come on.
And opened the door and leaped out. Verse 40. But having taken this woman,
we was able to grab her though. We was able to grab her. The mystery man, we couldn't grab him. He ran. He was Jackie Joyner. He was Usain Bolt. We could, and he was too strong. He was David. He was too strong. We couldn't hold him. But this woman though, we got her. Mm-hmm. We was able to get one of these criminals. Watch this.
But having taken this woman, we asked who the young man was, but she would not tell us. These things do we testify.
Go ahead.
Then the assembly believed them.
They did what?
Then the assembly believed them as those that were the elders and judges of the people. So they condemned her to death.
Why did they believe her? Why did they believe their report? Because of their status and reputation. Get that having men's persons in admiration. You know what I'm talking about?
You don't want at the law when it says don't having men's in admiration.
Yeah, having men's persons and having men's persons in admiration. Watch this, y'all. Oh, Jude 1. There you go. That was Jude 1. Yep, Jude 1 and 16.
This is a book of Jude, chapter 1, verse 16. You said when we started 16?
You know what? You know what? It's okay. Go to John chapter, I believe it's 9. I think it's like 20 something. Let me look. Let me look right quick. Forgive me, Israel. This precept, I really want it. I really want it. Rather than the fear of God. I know it's in there. Let me see. Oh, this is John chapter 8. Sorry.
8.
What is it? No. It's in John chapter 9, but I haven't pulled it in a minute. You know what? It is what it is. I'll get it later. Let's go back to History of Susanna. If I find it, I'll get it. All right, okay. History of Susanna, where we left off.
Got you. We on verse. Let me get back to it here. We're on verse 41, I believe. Yep, verse 41. Mm-hmm. The History of Susanna, chapter 1, verse 41. Then the assembly believed them, and those that were the elders and judges of the people, so they condemned her to death.
They did what?
They condemned her to death.
So they condemned her to death. Why? Because they had respect of these men. You know what? I just thought of another one. This is a big Bible, so go to Sirach 20. Mm-hmm. No, Sirach 14, sorry. Sirach 14 and verse 22, I believe.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 14 and verse 22.
It's 22? Yeah. No. It's talking about bashfulness. This is 2014. Jesus, I'm shooting from the hip here.
Right.
Let me go to chapter 20 right quick. Give me a second. Yeah, 20 and verse 22, sorry. 20 and verse 22, sorry.
All right. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 20 and verse 22. Mm-hmm. There is that destroyeth his own soul through bashfulness and by accepting of persons overthroweth himself.
Why? Because they did not examine the matter or do a diligent inquisition. So just because of these men's status and reputation amongst the people, they forsook. That's a word, right? Mm-hmm. They forsook the commandments. They didn't do a diligent inquisition. So read that one more time.
The book of Sirach, chapter 22.
20 and verse 22.
20 and verse 22.
Yep.
There is that destroyeth his own soul through bashfulness, and by accepting of persons overthroweth himself.
He overthroweth himself. So if they would have put her to death unjustly, they would have overthrown all of themselves. They would have got all of themselves judged ultimately for that. But the Lord will send somebody to redeem you. We just have to be patient and not try to avenge ourselves. Let's go back to history of Susanna.
This is the book of history, Susanna, chapter 1, verse, let me read 42 again.
Yep.
41 again. Yep.
41. That's fine.
Then the assembly believed them as those that were the elders and judges of the people, so that they condemned her to death. Then Susanna cried out with a loud voice and said, O everlasting God, that knowest the secrets and knowest all things before they be. Thou knowest that they have borne false witnesses against me.
It says, God, you know that they have borne false witness against me. Come on. You know that they have borne false witness against me. Come on.
And behold, I must die, whereas I never did such things as these men have maliciously invented against me.
Remember, it called a mischievous imagination. So understand something. He said, what these men malice means with ill intent. With ill intent. So these things, they invented something with ill intent against me. And you know that I have never done these things, Lord. You know. Because remember, her husband all can only do is do what? Sit back. Why? Because of what? Read on.
And the Lord heard her voice. Therefore, when she was led to be put to death, the Lord raised up the Holy Spirit of a young youth whose name was Daniel.
To do what?
Who cried with a loud voice, I am clear from the blood of this woman.
Yeah, they probably was bringing her to the gallows or bringing her to the grounds to get buried in stone. You understand? But the Lord sent the spirit of a young man named Daniel. The Lord, in your times of trouble, will send somebody to redeem you. Somebody with common sense in the scriptures to question what the hell's going on. He said, I'm clear from the judgment of this young man. I'm not talking about all the diligent inquisition is done, so on and so forth, and you just say, you know what? I don't agree with this. No, a diligent inquisition was not done. They took their word specifically because why? They were men set up. And they had reputation. Now, I ain't talking about righteous reputation. They were judges, elders. Come on.
Verse 47. Then all the people turned them toward him and said, what mean these words that thou hast spoken?
What you talking about, Willis? Come on.
So he, standing in the midst of them, said, Are ye such fools?
Are ye such fools?
Ye sons of Israel, that without examination.
Without what?
Without examination.
So why? What's the difference? As I stated earlier, what is the difference between disagreeing with a judgment righteously and wrongly? I'm talking about those who get up. I don't agree with that. No, there's a reason he didn't agree with the judgment. Why? Because of what? Read it again. That without.
So he, standing in the midst of them, said, Are ye such fools, ye sons of Israel, that without examination or knowledge of the truth, ye have condemned a daughter of Israel?
That's what we all have to be like. We all have to be like that. When one gets judged, she's still our brother and sister. Certain judgments, everybody's involved. You understand? And it says, look, because remember, it says she got to be stoned. The law says she got to be stoned. If so shall evil depart from Israel. But you fools and daughters of Israel, y'all did not properly examine and have no knowledge of the truth before y'all decided to condemn her. That's what made them fools. They followed their own mind. They had men's admiration. And they had men's persons in admiration. Sorry. Come on.
Verse 49. Return again to the place of judgment, for they have borne false witness against her.
They go right back to the examination room. Y'all need to go back to the drawing board because these people have lied on her. Come on. Because there was the spirit of the Lord. Come on.
Verse 50. Wherefore all the people turned again in haste, and the elders said unto him, Come, sit down among us. and show it us, seeing God have given thee the honor of an elder.
You got to imagine how they were ridiculing Daniel as a young man. They said, come, let us go back to the judgment room, seeing that God has made you an elder. Since you're an elder, let's go back to the room. Let's go back to the examination room then. Watch this.
Verse 51. Then said Daniel unto them, put these two aside, one far from another, and I will examine them.
Same way they was coming together in wickedness, murmuring amongst themselves about how we gonna rape this girl and how we gonna take her and her even though she's married to this other man, how we gonna take her. We come together, remove them far apart. Since they came together to devise this wickedness, remove them so we can get the truth. Watch this.
So when they were put asunder, one from another, he called one of them and said unto him, O thou that art waxen old in wickedness.
He said, because remember, Daniel was a prophet in Babylon. So he knew that there were wicked judges that came from Babylon, ancient judges that came from Babylon. He said, you old niggers waxing old in your wickedness, disrespecting them. I love this story. Come on.
One that are waxing old in wickedness, now thy sins which thou hast committed aforetime are come to light.
When understand something. What is this saying? These men right here, they've been doing this. They've been lying on people and getting away with it. They've been committing heinous acts. And according to the law, with people, and they do it amongst people that are matter of fact, get Saint Sirach 20 again, right quick. I'm gonna show you who they do it to. Verse 25.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 20 and verse 25.
Read verse 24, sorry.
Verse 24. A lie is a foul blot in a man, yet it is continually in the mouth of the untaught.
It is continually in the mouth of the untaught. The only people lies work on is those who are untaught. That's how people can lie to those who don't read. If you don't read or study, people can lie to you and you're going to take it as gospel. Why? Because you don't study for yourself. You don't study to show yourself approved. That's why you must surround yourself. To not fall into these situations most of the time, you have to surround yourself with people that study. You understand? You can get caught up by false witnesses when you are not studied. Or God's design, like with Christ. He was caught up because God designed it that way. He had to get put to death for the children of Israel, for us to be redeemed for our sins. But it ain't going to change the fact it happened, as it will happen to us, Israel. It will ever happen to any one of us. Any one of us can get lied on. You understand? The thing is, how will you handle it when that time comes? You must give your faith to the Most High God. You must study to show yourself approved so you can build your faith to be able to take somebody lying on you. Let's go back to history of Susanna, our righteous sister. Come on.
This is the history of Susanna, chapter 1, verse 52.
Go to, I didn't read. Jump to Deuteronomy 17. Why would he says that without examination or knowledge of the truth, ye have condemned the daughter of Israel? What does the law say to do? If just like y'all followed the law to condemn this sister, why didn't y'all follow the law to uphold the law? You understand? Which would be this. Watch this. Deuteronomy 17 and verse 2.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17 and verse 2. If there be found among you within any of thy gates, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, man or woman that have wrought wickedness in the sight of the Lord thy God, in transgressing his covenant.
So, wasn't Susanna accused of wickedness in the sight of the Most High God? Wasn't she accused to have wrought wickedness in Israel? This law pertains to her in her situation, right? Watch this, verse 3.
And hath gone and served other gods, and worship them, either the sun or moon, or any of the host of heaven, which I have not commanded, and it be told thee, and thou hast heard of it.
Okay, so. Remember, the elders did this part. They told everybody. They pulled her behind the side, and they told everybody what they believed to happen. Remember, they opened up the door. They opened up the garden door, screamed. No, everybody screamed. I want to make sure I'm recollecting this right. Everybody screamed. One of the elders ran to the door to open it up. And then everybody ran in. The servants ran in through a privy door, and they explained them that mischievous inventions or imagination. You understand? So they went and told everybody what they said to happen. Watch this.
And it be told thee, and thou hast heard of it, and inquired diligently.
Wait. They did not do this part.
And inquired diligently.
Go ahead.
And behold, it be true.
You must inquire diligently. You cannot condemn anybody in Israel without inquiring diligently. Come on.
And the thing certain that such abomination is wrought in Israel.
It's the thing certain. You must confirm it true and certain that it has happened. Remember, some people look at and it says gods, other gods. Serving other gods is in your actions. You can be celebrating Christmas and serving another god. You can be committing adultery in mass, and be serving another god. Serving another god is in practice. So, because the God of Israel tells you what? Not to commit adultery in Israel.
Yes, sir.
So that could be a form of serving another God, right? Watch this. Read verse 5.
Verse 5. Then shalt thou bring forth that man or that woman.
We couldn't bring the man because he was too damn strong. He was Debo. So all we could do was grab the woman. That's what they said. Watch this.
Which have committed that wicked thing unto thy gates, even that man or that woman, and shall stone them with stones till they die.
He says, you shall do what with them?
Shall stone them with stones until they die.
Verse 7. Oh, what's that? What verse is that?
That was verse 5.
Read verse 6.
Verse 6. At the mouth of 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses.
They understood that one. That's why it was the 2 elders. Remember, they had the 2 elders. And it says 3 witnesses, so they had 2. They fulfilled certain parts of the law. But those who have studied will say, but we forgot this. We forgot this. We're about to judge her. And that's what Daniel did. Daniel said, look, but we forgot this. How are we going to judge her? And we forgot this step right here. We got the 2 witnesses. We ready to stone her, but we didn't do a diligent inquisition. Watch this.
At the mouth of 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses shall he that is worthy of death be put to death. But at the mouth of 1 witness he shall not be put to death.
You can't kill somebody with 1 witness only. So they knew the law. It's 2 of us. Because if one of them would have came to her alone, it would have been he say, she say. They would have thrown it out. But 2 of them going to her, hey, you're going to sleep with us. And if you don't, we're going to get you put to death. How could they say that? Because the law says at the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let him that is worthy of death be put to death. And the judgment is what? Stoning. Right? Come on.
Verse 7. The hands of the witnesses shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterward the hands of all the people. So thou shalt put the evil away from among you.
This is the 2nd time we read about putting away the evil away from Israel. So what would have happened in this judgment? The reason they went up on that podium or they went and grabbed her head because they were supposed to be the first ones to put hands on her. I'm talking about throwing them stones. And then everybody else is supposed to throw stones. And that's why Daniel stood up in the midst of them. I'm not throwing no stone at nobody. I'm not throwing a stone at nobody. My hands are clean from this matter. Come on. Go back to history, Susanna.
The history of Susanna, chapter 1, verse 52. So when they were put asunder one from another, he called one of them and said unto him, Oh, that thou that art waxen old in wickedness, now thy sins which thou hast committed aforetime are come to light. For thou hast pronounced false judgment and hast condemned the innocent and hast let the guilty go free.
It says what?
For thou hast pronounced false judgment and hast condemned the innocent and has let the guilty go free.
It says you have let the guilty go free, but condemn the innocent. Who is the innocent? Susanna. Who is the guilty? Them old bastards who do not apply the law. I know some people got offended by the word bastard, but God is not dealing with them. They're bastards. He's not their father. He couldn't be.
Right.
Watch this. Read on.
Albeit, the Lord saith.
What verse we at?
We're still at verse 53.
Go ahead.
Albeit, the Lord saith, the innocent and righteous shall thou not slay.
You're not going to slay the righteous, nor are you going to hurt the innocent. Watch this.
Verse 54.
And the only way you're going to know who's innocent or guilty is if you do what? A diligent inquisition. That's why truth will always prevail, because the commandments are clear cut. They have everything detailed I'm talking about to the minute detail to make sure every basis is covered. You committed adultery, we got laws concerning that. You committed fornication, we have laws concerning that. You smoke weed, we have laws concerning that. We have everything set up to be able to judge our people righteously. We just must turn to the commandments. You understand? So that's why lies will never prevail. Because we have this righteous book of laws, statutes, and commandments to govern and protect us. So that's why you shouldn't hop out the spirit. That's why you shouldn't try to avenge yourselves.
Right.
Come on.
Verse 54.
Yes, sir.
Now then, if thou hast seen her, tell me, under what tree sawest thou them companying together? Who answered, under a mystic tree.
Under a mastic tree.
Mastic tree.
It says, so under a mastic tree. So I seen the man and Susanna under a mastic tree. Mystery man. Nobody's trying to find out who that is yet. Okay. Come on.
Verse 55. And Daniel said, very well, thou hast lied against thine own head. For even now the angel of God hath received the sentence of God to cut thee in two. So he put him aside and commanded to bring the other, and said unto him, O thou seed of Canaan.
So he said, look, O thou seed of the ancient Africans, because you surely are not acting like a child of Israel. And you read throughout the various scriptures that when you behave as the other nations, God considers you the other nations. So Daniel, he kept that mindset going. O thou seed of Canaan. Go ahead.
And not of Judah.
And you couldn't be of the tribe of Judah because Christ is from Judah. And you acting like a damn Canaanite. Come on.
Beauty have deceived thee.
It says, look, the reason you even did all this is because your initial covetousness, your lust. Watch this.
And lust have perverted thine heart. Verse 57. Thus have ye dealt with the daughters of Israel, and they for fear companied with you, but the daughters.
It says they what?
And they for fear companied you.
It says company with you. So out of fear of man's person, you will do such wickedness, or you will allow such wickedness to happen in Israel. That's what happened. That's what happened in this situation. Our people right here, instead of judging righteously, they had man's persons in admiration. They had no fear of God, but they had fear of men. Why? Because these ancient judges had authority that was not right for them. They were not true. They were not trusted with the word of God. You understand? Come on.
Verse 57. Thus have ye dealt with the daughters of Israel, and they for fear companied with you, but the daughter of Judah would not abide your wickedness.
Man, I found what I was looking for earlier. Go to John chapter 12. The Spirit of the Lord came on.
All praise.
The Spirit of the Lord. John chapter 12 and verse 42. This is how we deal with people that lie on us. But as Daniel just said, for those who are not following along, he said, what was that, verse 57?
Yep.
Yeah, it says, and they for fear companied with you. Watch this. John chapter 12 and verse 41.
This is the book of John, chapter 12, verse 41.
Actually, verse 42. Let's get to the point.
Verse 42. Nevertheless, among the chief rulers also many believed on him.
So, amongst those who were chief, amongst the rulers, they also believed on Christ. Go ahead.
But because of the Pharisees.
Because of who?
The Pharisees, they did not confess him.
Didn't we just read that in the history of Susanna? They said for fear they accompanied you. They joined with you out of fear. It's the same thing with Christ. Whoop-de-doo. The same thing with Christ. The reason people didn't want to support Christ or follow Christ or not lie on Christ is why. Or they lied on Christ is why. Because of what? Fear of man. Come on.
But because of the Pharisees, they did not confess him, lest they should be put out of the synagogue.
Lest they lose their position. Some people will lie on you, or some people will not support you in a time of trial and tribulation because they fear they may lose their position. It may be social standing with other people. Watch this.
For they love the praise of men.
They love the praise of man. Why would somebody move in deceit or lie on you? Read it again.
For they love the praise of men more than the praise of God.
More than the praise of God. More than the praise of God. The praise of God should be at the top of your list. But what happens is when you have men's persons in admiration, when you have, when you're bashful, you allow people to lie and be deceitful around you and really get the righteous and the innocent slain. And yet their blood will be upon your hand. So the best way to help truth prevail is to know the truth and move in truth. But you can't do that if you're not studied. They'll be like, why am I always going through this? Because you don't study. When was the last time you read?
Not applying.
Hey, you're not applying. Come on. You can't apply what you don't read, bro.
John again?
No. We can go back to first. I just wanted to read it.
Yes,
I found
sir.
it.
Yes, sir.
First, Susanna, verse 58.
Verse 58. Now therefore tell me, under what tree didst thou take them companying together?
It says, so what do you see them sleeping together at? Remember, when you're doing diligent inquisition, some minute details can either make or break a situation, or save or slay the innocent. Watch this.
Who answered, under a home tree.
Then the other brother said mastic tree. So when the two witnesses don't agree, that's a problem. Get John 8 and 17.
This is the book of John, chapter 8, and verse 17. It is also written in your law that the testimony of two men is true.
It says, ain't it? It's also written in your law that the testimony of two men is true. Christ knew the law. To defeat liars, you must know the law. Watch this. Read on.
And I am one that bear witness of myself, and the Father that sent me beareth witness of me.
It says, so the two, you should not be against me because it's written in your law that the testimony of two men is true. My testimony beareth of me, and then my Father who sent me beareth of me. Those are two witnesses. It's written in your law. You have to have the law in hand to defend yourself. That's trusting in God. Or you can try to defend yourself with nothing. And see how that fares for you. Let's go back to Susanna, 59.
Verse 59. Then said Daniel unto him, well, thou hast also lied against thine own head. For the angel of God waiteth with the sword to cut thee in two, that he may destroy you.
He said that to the other brother as well. And for those who've been in witness, interrogations, they're like, look, bro, hold up. We already got you. You might as well just tell us what you know. Everybody else already squeaked like rats. You might as well tell us. He be like, no, they wouldn't have told. They wouldn't have said nothing. Look, all right, brother, close the door. All right, we'll see you later. And they walk away. You be like, no. All right. I got the truth. I'm gonna tell the truth. It's like, all right. What we can guarantee is maybe 15 years. Maybe.
Maybe.
He said, man, I'm gonna start talking.
Start telling about other stuff.
He start talking about other stuff. Man, he was on the master tree. He had 7 birds under there. He just start talking. Start squeaking like a rat. Watch this.
Verse 59. Then Daniel said unto him.
Oh, you can read verse 60.
Verse 60. With that, all the assembly cried out with a loud voice and praised God who saveth them that trust in him.
He do what?
They praise God who saveth them that trust in him.
It says you must trust in God. When people understand something, through lies or deceit, truth will always prevail, but you must trust in God. You must have faith in God. Fully commit yourself to him who judges righteously. He's going to send a righteous judge to judge your situation. Sometimes you may have to bear, just like Christ did. He got lied on and he had to bear the punishment. But it did not change that he was righteous before God. We all must know that there's a God. Fully commit yourself to the Most High God before you fully commit yourself to man. Because that's what happens. When you commit yourself to man, you say, you know what? No. I'm also lie. I'm going to do other things or render evil for evil. Some people get lied on and they start bringing up old stuff to make sure they don't get judged. If you're going to judge me, you got to judge them too. We're not talking about that. We're talking about you. Read on.
Verse 61. And they arose against the two elders For Daniel had convicted them of false witness by their own mouth. And according to the law of Moses, they did unto them in such sort as they maliciously intended to do to their neighbor. And they put them to death. Thus the innocent blood was saved the same day.
So let's go back to the law. What is he talking about in the law of Moses? How was she redeemed by the law of Moses? And they were put to death by the law of Moses. Let's go to Deuteronomy 19. Yep, 19 verse 16.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 19 and verse 16.
This is for those who actually trust in the Lord. Watch this.
If a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that which is wrong.
So what is that letting you know? In our lives, and I respect all of our lives, we will have people that will lie on us. It's written in the law that in the event that somebody lies on you, there is a false witness. Go ahead, verse 17.
Verse 17. Then both the men between whom the controversy is shall stand before the Lord.
Go ahead.
Before the priests and the judges.
It's so understand something. It's before the congregation. You understand? Because some people thought it was just Daniel in an interrogation room. No. Everybody heard this interrogation. They heard it. Why? So everybody can hear the details. It ain't going to be, because if it was just him and the judge can lie. The judge can lie. And then it's going to be he say, she say. I didn't say that. He said it before the priests and the judges as the law stated. Watch this.
Which shall be in those days. And the judges shall make diligent inquisition.
They should do what?
They shall make diligent inquisition.
That's what Daniel did. That's what we have to have faith in. That the Lord will send righteous men to do diligent inquisition. Go ahead.
And behold, if the witness be a false witness and have testified falsely against his brother, then shall ye do unto him.
This shall what?
Then shall ye do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother.
Why?
So shalt thou put the evil away from among you.
It says so. If somebody has lied on you, and if diligent inquisition is made, the same thing he intended for to happen to you, you must do it unto them. So if the law stated they accused her of adultery, right? And the law stated that she must be stoned. What the hell do you think happened to them? I would have had the biggest rock as Joachim. As her husband, yes, bro. I would have had a curveball. You know, you throw the rock so hard, the arm looked like it bend. As her husband, that rock would have been large. I would have said, Officer Isaac, help me grab this rock. Thank you. They lied on my wife, and they were found to be lies. Drop. You catching this heavy, mean rock.
Man.
Matter of fact, Daniel could have been the first one. Because the law states, it says, when you find evil, you got to be the first one to do it. Nah, I would have had the biggest rock. Read on. Same chapter. Deuteronomy 19, yep.
Yes, sir.
Verse 20.
Verse 20. And those which remain shall hear and fear, and shall henceforth commit no more any such evil among you.
Listen, the reason this needs to happen, when liars are found amongst you, and you are acquitted of the evil accused of you, that person needs to get that judgment that they wanted for you done to them. Why? So everybody can start have that fear of God. And what is it going to do? Build up their faith. That, look, if this person got lied on and they were redeemed by the Most High God, surely I can be redeemed by the Most High God if I get lied on. Inversely, I better not lie on nobody, or I'm going to get put to death. You know?
And thine eyes shall not pity.
You do not pity them. If a person is found, let's say a judgment comes, and that person is found to lie on another brother, and you have to judge that person, do not have pity on that. That means don't call them afterwards. Hey man, I wish it didn't have to happen like that. To hell with all that. They didn't think that forehead not to lie. Why should you think that forehead to call them and say, hey, I wish it didn't have to happen like that. No, I wish it did happen like that. You shouldn't have been lying. You shouldn't have been lying on our daughter. You shouldn't have been lying on our brother. Come on.
And thine eyes shall not pity, but life shall go for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot.
Go Revelations 21:8.
The book of Revelations, chapter 21, verse 8.
Is that what I'm looking for?
But the fearful,
yep.
Verse 8. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death.
Knowing that all liars shall get their part in the lake of fire, why try to avenge yourself? Why try to go hard to defend yourself?
Right.
Let the facts go where they may, and from there, commit yourself to the Most High God. That's where our mindset's got to be at. We got to stop moving in this mindset that there isn't a God. That these are just men. There's no righteous men amongst them. God will send righteous men among you. Even in David, when he committed his sin against the Most High God, he still committed himself to the Most High God. He said, I'd rather fall in the hands of God than the hands of man. All of us must think like that. And the way you fall into the hands of God is relying on this word right here. Let's go back to Susanna.
Yes, sir.
26, verse 63.
63. Yes, sir. History of Susanna, chapter 1, verse 63. Therefore, Chelseus and his wife praised God for their daughter Susanna, with Joachim, her husband, and all the kindred, because there was no dishonesty found in her.
There was what?
No dishonesty found in her.
It said at the end of the day, you have to think you got to see that you remain blameless, that there be no dishonesty found in you. With Christ, the same thing. I wish we had a little bit more time to get that, but the same thing. He committed himself unto God, and there was no dishonesty found in him. Even Pilate marveled. Pilate was, matter of fact, let's just go ahead and get it. The hell with it. Let's get it. Matthew 27. Verse 12.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 27.
Verse 11, matter of fact.
And verse 11. And Jesus stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, Art thou the king of the Jews? And Jesus said unto him, Thou sayest.
You said that. Why is that? Why would he have to say that? Because that was said about him. Here cometh the king of the Jews. He never said that about himself. He called himself the Son of Man. You understand? But to say that in that present time was treason. To set up another kingdom in another governing kingdom. So he said, you said that. Go ahead.
And when he was accused of the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing.
He did what?
He answered nothing.
That's the spirit we gotta have. When people accuse you of stuff, if the shoe don't fit, why wear it? Why put it on? Some people be trying to put on 8-inch boots. 8-inch boots, size 12s, and you wear size 8.
Right.
Why put them on? If you know you're being honest to the best of your ability, don't put those boots on. Come on.
Then said Pilate unto him, Hearest thou not how many things thy witness against thee?
He said, don't you hear all the things they witness against you? Don't you hear all these allegations? You ain't gonna say nothing.
And he answered him.
He'd be like, nah, what's the point? Oh, you think I'm going to sit here and defend every single allegation that's coming against me? Go ahead.
And he answered him to never a word, insomuch that the governor marveled greatly.
If you don't answer when you're being accused in this form and fashion against all these allegations, people are going to marvel. What the hell? How is he doing this? Why is he doing this? Say something. Come on.
Right. And he answered him that never a word, insomuch that the governor marveled greatly. Now at that feast, the governor was wont to release unto the people a prisoner whom they would.
You know what? No, it's all right. Now, I actually have most of this chapter written down. But, I pray y'all got something for what we went over today. All right. The title was Through Lies or Deceit, Truth Prevails. So, as I stated earlier, all of us are going to get lied on this truth. It's all about what you do during your trial that shows what type of man you are, which is going to show if truth truly prevails. You understand? So with that, I pray I've been edified. All right. I'm Officer Gabriel from IUIC Louisville. Make sure y'all subscribe to our YouTube, our Rumble as well. We have a Rumble now. Subscribe to our Rumble. Always like to support our leadership. Go to IUIC Diaspora, IUIC Events. Subscribe to that. And IUIC Captains. Subscribe to that channel as well. All right. And with that, let's say shalom, Messiah, Christ bless.
Shalom, Israel.